How you doing, family? To know truth is to live truth. To know truth is to live truth. To know truth is to live truth. Okay, I want to start this movie off, and I'm gonna try to do this at the beginning of every movie, uh, because I want to inculcate into this lecture series a lot of the techniques and rituals that we used to do when I used to go to Convent Avenue on 145th Street in Harlem. This is over 25, 30 years ago, when I used to sit at the feet of the masters, as we used to call it. Um, uh, at the point where I woke up and became aware of the masters, Dr. John Henry Clark was still alive, but I didn't get the opportunity to actually in on one of his lectures. But you can see these same lectures on YouTube. Thank God, those are available to you. But what I want to do is give honor to our ancestors, um, going all the way back to the Kemetic times of Egypt, and even the ancestors before we had perfected the training and the lifestyle that was codified in coming out of Ethiopia, and the Moorish traditions that were preceded the Egyptian civilizations, and insight and wisdom that was the culmination of their ancestors and predecessors. Uh, the human family basically is what I'm talking about. Okay, and when I became uh, awoken, um, I sat at the feet of many great masters, and we're blessed to have some of them still with us in the physical plane, and I want to honor them. That is, we had a tag team that were the soldiers on the front line of progress and liberation for African Americans who were coming out of the enslavement and the segregation process. And that's Dr. Leonard Jeffries and Professor James Smalls. They are like the Buck and the Preacher. If you've seen the movie Buck and the Preacher with Sidney Poitier and Harry Belafonte, those two characters. Buck was played by Sidney Poitier, and the preacher was played by Harry Belafonte. And those are our movies. Those are the movies that speak to the form that I was born into, which is an African American. And so I acknowledge and value the form that I was born into. And part of that process is I have to acknowledge the my elders and my kabas, my babas. Babas is the African term for father, and I'm not familiar with what the term is for brother, but Professor Dr. Leonard Jeffries and Professor James Smalls. They were a tag team, and you rarely saw one without the other. But Dr. Jeffries was so busy. More often than not, I had the honor of being trained and educated by Professor Smalls, and then the list goes on. At the time, Professor Smalls, James Smalls, was actually the youngest of the elders at that time. Um, and the elders at that time was Dr. Leonard Jeffries, who was younger than some of the other elders, which was Dr. Shashi McIntyre, Dr. Scobie. I'm not familiar and don't remember his first name, but these are people who wrote books and things that were teaching about the African American experience coming out of the enslavement process and segregation. Okay, these were the people that I learned from. Okay, and those were the four key people when I came in, started attending the church on Convent Avenue and 145th Street. And when I even mention this, a smile comes on my face because it was such a beautiful time. It was a renaissance in insight, wisdom, and intelligence for African American people. We were discovering our ancestral wisdom that I was actually born into this form. It was a product of that lineage. And it's important that you younger people that I'm talking to who didn't get to know some of these people, you need to know who are the people you need to seek out as you uh, as you're on this path of enlightenment. You want to know who the masters of the truth are. Okay, I am now in the position of a teacher and an instructor. Okay, but the key thing is that you understand how I got to be the way I am. And see, a lot of that comes from learning from others before me, great people who have dedicated their entire lives to codifying and gathering information and imparting it on to me. And I am one of a cadre of soldiers, teachers, babas, and brothers and sisters who you will, I really suggest that you seek out and you get the knowledge from them so that you now can take this knowledge and take it to the next level. Now you guys are going to be the Jedis of your generation. Okay, I'm the Jedi of my generation, and I'm doing this for my nieces and my nephews. You know who you are. I love you guys so much, and my son Joshua, and my grandson Isaiah, and Kaya, my granddaughter, and I have a new grandson, thanks to Joshua, my beautiful son, who has his name is LJ. He's a junior, Joshua Russell Jr. And that's my what we call my slave name is Russell. My traditional name is Oduwole, and so that's I'm very proud of that, and I smile because when I think of Dr. Leonard Jeffries and Dr. James Smalls, Dr. Shashi McIntyre, Dr. Scobie, all of these great thinkers, these are the people who really opened my eyes, and they pulled the pins on so many grenades and threw them into my head and triggered a chain reaction of curiosity and insight that just grew the thirst within me to know more and to continue to ask the ultimate question: why? 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 And I've talked about that in my previous movies. Okay, but I want to introduce you to the brothers and sisters, the sisters and brothers, and I have to start seeing that in the right order because we come here through sisters and mothers, and my phenomenal mother and my grandmother, Rosanna Carter. Okay, everything, you come from something. It's very important as young people that you understand to show love and to know love is to spend time. This is the one thing I notice about the new generation, and you're doing what evolution requires you to do. And but you do it because you don't know stuff. Unfortunately, a lot of you have been raised by the television, and I want to apologize to you for that. And wherever I was in an environment where I could control what you experience through your intake sensors, okay? Your intake sensors, your anything you touched, taste, smelled, heard, or saw. These are intake sensors that allow you to be impacted and experience the physical plane that we are on, and we call it life, right? Uh, Part of where we went wrong, coming out of the enslavement process and the segregation process and the brainwashing that continues to this very second, it never lets up. And the number one weapon that they use to blind you and rob you of your freedom, your happiness, and your joy is that television. And now it's this smartphone. See, because they're going to keep reinventing and evolving. You got to understand. And see, and that's my job, is to help you to understand. You won't even know. You will go from that to this. YouTube, you got to be careful with that too. Pick and choose what you're going to let come into this, come into here. You have to take charge. This is a part of it. Okay? And in order for you to, I'm moving along now, in order for you to be able to become the Jedi that you are and were meant to be, you have to get good information, good data. Okay? And the data that you need to get is you got to go back to your past. You got to understand the history of where you came from and where your people came from, where humanity came from. Whenever you wanted to study humanity, you got to go back to Africa. There is no way to cut a corner on that, because everything else that you learn about some Greek or some whoever, and I mean, let's be clear about something. A whole lot of stuff don't make it right. You got a whole lot of European history. I mean, mega billions of data of European history. But that don't make it right. That's the mutated African story. That is the new thing. The slick, it's the new, popular. It's the new thing. But it don't make it right. Okay? I want you to be able to find the garbage and push that on the side and get to the kernel of truth. Because right now, you're born into an environment where truth is now beginning to come out because of the internet. So you got to cut the TV off, get into the internet. But when you get to the internet, you got a whole bunch of garbage and crap. And you know why it's that way? That's the evolutionary process. That's how it works. works. When the planets were being formed, things were slamming into each other, and it was a mess. And we're still going through that process. When the human form was evolving to where it is right now, it was a mess. People were crawling around on all fours, carrying on, eating each other, smelling each other's backside, doing all kinds of stuff. And we're still doing that. And you got to understand. And I want you to, it's always a two thing here, a duality here. It's a good and a bad. I say it's bad because I want you to be better. And in order for you to be better, you got to identify the old and the things that were mistakes. And you got to identify the kernels of growth, of truth that's moving you forward in the evolutionary process forward. Okay? There's a big debate within the religious groups and people who are bogged down into these religions. See, the whole concept of a religion, that's the old way. That's the scab now. If you look at a tree, you'll see dead skin peeling off and whatnot. Well, that's the Bible. That's religions. That's the dead skin. The new, fresh, young bark, that's spirituality. That's intelligence. That's wisdom. Wisdom always is the new bark, is the core of the tree that never goes anywhere. It just keeps sprouting more layers. See, wisdom is a refinement process. Intelligence is a refinement process. Evolution is a process of refinement. You're getting better. Refinement means getting better, producing better. Okay? And this is the process. There is no way around it. It was set into motion billions of years ago, and we're still in the process. The one singular thought that God had is still playing out. And an eternal, unlimited being can only produce eternal and unlimited things. And anything that is directly connected to it is unlimited and eternal. That's you. Always getting better. So the reason why you may see me express some enthusiasm and some energies to about getting rid of stuff that was right for its time in the past, and I do it with a lot of enthusiasm, okay, and a lot of passion, is because I want you to understand. My job is to identify for you the things that are the old ways and the mistakes that my parents and my elders before me have made mistakes. I may make some mistakes because, again, perfection is trying to express itself through an imperfect, finite form. An infinite, perfect, unlimited being, spiritual energy that is you, that never dies, is trying to repeatedly in a never-ending cycle, okay, of effort to express itself through a finite, limited form. And that was set up so that you would have form, because an unlimited, infinite being has no form. So what it does is it finds form and expresses itself through form. Okay? And the process of birth is that exact thing that I'm talking about, that activity of an infinite, unlimited, perfect being born into a form that is finite, temporary, and limited. Okay, and that is going to cause, uh, you know, limited and unlimited is the duality, and they are tracked to each other by design. That's where God set all this up. Okay, but that interaction is going to create what we call evolution, the physical expression and objectivity of the evolutionary process. And that process is going to repeat endlessly. And every time it goes through another cycle, you get better. You get better. You get better. Okay, it depends on how you're looking at it. If you look at it this way, you begin, you reach a peak, the vehicle ends, the spirit goes into another vehicle, you start the process all over. Now, if you look at it from this perspective and this angle, it looks like you're just going in a circle. But if you take that circle and lay it down and now look at that circle, you would think you're going like this back to itself. That's not what's happening. You're going in a spiral up every time, getting better, getting better. So you're not where you started in the first cycle. The second cycle is here, the third cycle is here, the fourth cycle is here, the fifth cycle is here, and every cycle endlessly on through existence. And that's why some people call it a totem pole. You hear the totem pole. Back in the days, we used to call it the totem pole concept, right? Because the cycle that you're living through right now is coming from your ancestors. The cycles before you, those are your ancestors. I will become the ancestor to Isaiah and Kea and Joshua Jr. And my son Joshua is coming out of me, my cycle, the cycle that my mother and my father, who came together and gave birth to me, and I picked up the baton of whatever they had learned, and I started my learning process, and I started my own cycle. Okay, but we're all connected. Even these mutated black people, they call themselves European, Eurasians, white, and all these titles and labels. And you have to have label because you have to have structure and you have to have order. This is a part of the order. And sometimes it seems a little chaotic, but this is an evolving chaos. Okay? And I don't want you to live in chaos. I want you to live in order, in a mindset where you clearly understand what you were born into. Okay? And the faster you get this understanding and this clarity, okay, the better your life is going to be. And remember, as I said in my earlier videos, God is concerned with one thing and one thing only: its own perpetual existence. That's what the term I am, that I am means. Now, the joy, the happiness, the fun, and all of that stuff, that's up to you. There'll be no fun, joy, and happiness if you don't make it happen. The universal being don't care. Because there's nothing you can do to a universal, omnipotent, omnipresent being that will always exist and is the beginning and the end of all things. It don't have to care. And I don't mean that to say that it is cold. It is what it is. And I want you to be rooted in reality. I don't want you to be rooted in fairy tale fantasy and nonsense. Okay? And listen, if I'm telling you this and I'm intuitively sensing this, it's because that's what God wants me to tell you. God don't make mistakes. We fail to interpret the will of God. And my job is to make sure you get a clear, concise interpretation. And I'm just giving you what I'm intuitively instructed to give you. These folks right here, all these people before me, Professor Kaba, this man can deliver insight and wisdom on a level I can't even get my head around. I don't have the brain cells to do what he does. This brother here, this to me is my Kaba. This is my Baba. This brother here, and he was sitting next to me in Convent Avenue, and he was there before me. So he got the good stuff. And his delivery, what he's giving you is, this is serious business. He's the only brother I know that put together the concept of a spiritual being having a human experience. I was intuitively given that insight from the universe and our ancestors, and it was given to him. I can tell because it has a sound. It sounds exactly like what I was given. See, you got to develop your own chops to be able to decipher truth and reality from the BS and the nonsense. But the way you get there the fastest is cut that thing off. See, you got to learn the process of eliminating noise and inviting and picking and choosing truth. And the more you taste and hear and smell truth, the stronger you're going to get and the more sharper your senses are going to get to truth. You know how you're going to know it's true? Because you're going to see examples of it with other people who don't know each other. That's what comparative analysis gives you. That's a part of your toolbox to be able to find wisdom amongst noise, lies, fairy tales, and BS. Another brother is Jeremiah Camara. Excellent. I'm reading his book right now, digital form. Excellent, excellent. The level of comprehensive, detailed analysis of the filthy lies that have been perpetuated in order to promote the ultimate lie that one race is better than the other. And this brother cuts that into what you call like a shredder. Shreds all the lies, and the only thing you'll be left with is the truth, because the truth cannot be shredded. Only BS can be shredded. Truth will shred lies. And when you hear the truth, it's going to have a sound. And you're going to know that sound. And it's going to explode in your head and give you a sense of relief, aha. That sounds right. When I compare it to other things that are wrong, I can see that it's right. I want you to learn how to determine what's right. Not have nobody tell. You do that for you. And with that righteousness, you will now define and build yourself up and become a vessel filled with knowledge and righteousness. And it will improve and expand the quality of your life. And you'll be walking around smiling and happy while the stock market is crashing, And here you sitting there smiling and laughing because you're invested in Tesla, who is another brother, to show you that being demelanated don't make you wrong. You can be a balanced, demelanated human being. Elon Musk. I mean, just an explosion of truth, decency, and righteousness. And he cares passionately about making the world better. And you know what motivates him? It's the same thing that motivates me. Our children. And we don't want them to live in a world that's filled with lies and deception. Like that filthy thing they got in DC right now. Rump. Filthy liar. And you know why he came into office? Because he has a whole millions of people who happen to be white or worshipers of the myth of white supremacy. He saw a black man get into the White House, President Obama, who was the product of the thing that the white supremacists hate more than anything else. They didn't hate President Obama and don't hate President Obama because he's black. They hate him because his mother was white and his father was black. And he is the symbol of the end of the myth of white supremacy. Okay? And that's all mental illness. Because it don't exist. And it goes against the will of God. Goes against the will of God. The evolutionary process. Be better. Love ye one another. Now, these are statements that are put into their Bible that actually are positive. The kernels, the scintilla of truth. You are your brother's keeper. And it don't matter what color your brother is. Color don't matter. Look at the horses. They don't care. There's certain instinctive behavior that may kick in an extreme situation. See, you have some things that are extreme situations. They don't count because they're extreme. They're on the outside of the norm. And those things you just ignore. You just ignore them because they too will fade away. An unlimited being extruding itself through a limited, finite form. Some things are of the form, and some things in this existence are of the spirit, the unlimited being. And the things that are manifesting that are of the form, don't be overtly concerned about. Recognize them, identify what they are, and take the appropriate action, which is largely, more often than not, is to ignore it. Our job is not to be worried about peeling the dead skin off the tree. Our job is about being the tree, being righteous. Righteous is you being the core and the body of the tree. The branches and the leaves that come, they come and they go. But the core trunk of the tree lasts forever. Well, as much as a physical thing can last, the concept is the same. The trunk of the tree remains. The branches continue to grow out, but the leaves come and they go. This is a leaf. They come and they go. But your righteousness, the spirit that rides in the leaf, is that which retracts out when the leaf dies off and comes into a bud. Now you're a bud on the tree, a baby, bud, baby. Okay, that reminds me. I wanted to mention something. I was reading Brother Jeremiah Kamara's book, and he talked about on one of the passages how there was some pharaoh or somebody, and who was doing something that was perpetuating a lie in the Bible or whatever he had wrote, and I believe he was some kind of he was like the person was like a teacher. He was a person who helped the society formulate policy to perpetuate the lie of white supremacy. And one of the things that this person was perpetuating was telling people that don't believe the truth, believe the Bible over your truth and your good judgment. And you know what his name was? His name was Iraneus, Irenaeus. And I said, it's amazing. The one thing about evil is it really does not hide. It is right in your face. But you have got to learn to develop a system where you can learn how to identify the markers, the indicators. And a lot of times the indicators are in the person's name. Trump, rump. Take the T off and you got rump. The name of this person's name was Irenaeus. They have a word in the English language called erroneous. Erroneous means phony, fake. And this person's name was Irenaeus. Look at these Confederates that are in the Republican Party. Listen to their names. I mean, it's John Boehner, Bane, the bane of existence, is something negative. If you listen to their names, most of them have names where you clearly can see these people are evil. They are, they are wrong. I don't want to say evil because that implies that they're, they should be killed. No. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about indicators that identify something that needs to be ignored. It's a part of the noise and the distractive apparatus designed to keep you from realizing that you're God having a human experience. Sidetracking you with nonsense and BS. Okay? And just listen to the names. That's just one of your thousands of tools that are available to you. Once you learn to see them and hear them, you will be able to calmly look at somebody, and because your background, you have such a base of knowledge and wisdom taught to you by the masters. Okay? And so when you confront them, and the other thing about them is they're weak and superficial. If you confront them with real knowledge and wisdom, they will crumble before your eyes, and they will do it loudly and cry and stamp their feet and get mad, because when they get discovered, they want to try to distract and run for cover, and you'll see them, they'll get mad and they'll start interrupting you. They won't let you. They say, we got to stop him from talking because people are actually going to start to see that I'm a liar. So if you allow this television to train you to be excited by the wrestler that jumps off the rope and turns around and goes like an idiot, and you buy into that nonsense, that makes you're going to be just as stupid as they are. See, they know they lying, but you believe the lie. That makes you stupider than they are. And I'm not going to allow that. I want you to know and identify the stupidity and the nonsense, and the crap that is coming across that television. If you're a young child, teenager, you thought you want to be entertained, You know what entertaining is? It's not entertaining. It's not. Some of it is. Some of the art and the scholarly information that comes across the YouTube is entertaining. But you need to be entertained in a way where you are informed. See, true art informs you. It trains you. It doesn't entertain you, or what I call detain you, which is train you to be a dummy and sit back and just let everybody just put stuff in your head, and you just trigger thoughts, and you so now all of your thoughts are not your thoughts. They are thoughts that you're sitting back watching that are triggered by something that somebody else is doing. Okay, so what are the thoughts that you are projecting for the things that you want in your life? And time matters when it comes to that. Cycles matter. How many times are your projected thoughts being repeated more than the reactive thoughts that you're having because you saw something over here and you like an idiot? See, time matters. When you're on this plane here, time matters. How many times are you repeating the visions and the belief of what you have now in the fourth dimension? Because if your fourth dimension time is being utilized reacting thoughts that are reactive thoughts created by this stupid thing here and that dumb Bible, and you sitting there, oh, Jesus, oh, yeah, Jesus, oh, come and get me, come take care of me, come do everything for me, Jesus, because I'm incapable. I can't do it on my own. Stop lying. You absolutely can do it on your own, because otherwise, why did God give you the authority? Why do you have an imagination? Why? 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 You think God is stupid? Or you trying to say God made a mistake? God gave you judgment. So you saying perfection gave you something that was a mistake? That's an insult. And you should be insulted that anybody should say something like that to you. You see how wrong we have been, black folks? You see how utilized and abused we have been and still are, black folks? White folks, you in a worse condition than black folks, because you sitting there with everything going for you and you're still scared. What you scared of? You got everything. You shouldn't be scared of no black folks. We don't have nothing. We do. We got the truth on our side. See? And that's why you scared. Young folks, they're terrified of you. They look at you and they see your beauty, because you are what originally was supposed to be. And it's okay that they are the way they are. They are in our family. And because of the way they are, you know that you are beautiful. They're beautiful too in their own way. They're just a newer expression of the evolutionary process. But they're so busy trying to create a war, create a negative out of something. See, they're so busy doing that, they don't even know their own beauty. See, they can't enjoy and bathe in their own beauty without putting something on you, trying to say you're not beautiful, when they know it's the exact opposite. You know how they can tell? When we both go stand out in the sun. See, that which is meant to be in an environment will stand out in the sun and have no problem. That which is recessive and not real will mate with that which is what's the opposite of recessive? It's dominant. Dominance will always overcome recessive. Mate with somebody who is quote unquote white. Anybody of color, mate with somebody who is quote unquote white. and see what you get. You don't have to look far. You just had a president that is the product of that meeting, and his name is Barack Obama. And every time they see his face, they're reminded that they are recessive. And that's what Dr. Francis Cress Welsing taught us with the Melanin Project. And see what it is, you don't know it. Oh, but they know it. The people who are the white supremacists, the people who are perpetuating the lie, they are terrified of the reality of the dominant against the recessive. And they know the eventuality of the dominance that is dealing with the recessive. Recessive is going out, because that's the trajectory that God has put into motion. They can't box with God. Not going to happen, folks. And you know what we need to do? We need to get them comfortable with the will of God. And black folks, what y'all need to do, those of you who are so inclined to be attracted to the demelanated black people, go for it. Get at it. Ain't nothing wrong with that. They're human beings. Warped. You're doing them a favor. You will remove, their children will be born without the anxiety, without the terror of being annihilated. See, that's how you know they're not spiritual. Because if you're spiritual, you'll know you can never die. The reason they are doing all of this white supremacy nonsense is because they're identifying with the form. And Eckhart Tolle told you, stop identifying with form, because form is temporary. Spirit is forever. And Eckhart Tolle is not the only one. But see, everybody was black. So there was no reason to talk about identifying with any form. There was no such thing as religion back then. Religion means to come back, reconnect with what? What are you reconnecting to? What are you going back to? See? It's like a rubber band. If you're already here and I pull you this way, you're going to fly. But the center is here. You're going to fly all the way over here somewhere. Okay? And it's going to go back and forth until it gets back and settles back into the middle. Who pulled the rubber band? Do you think black people got caught in the ice by mistake? No such thing as mistake. God don't make mistakes. We fail to interpret the will of God. And that's a part of the journey. See, every time you think that once that rubber band gets back to the center, I can guarantee you something is going to happen and start that rubber band going again. Because as soon as it settles down and you think you're all right, and you think you got it going on, God is going to go, no, let's get something else going. And God knows what it's doing. She, if anything, is she. Ain't gonna be no he. You get that. Ain't no man I know can give birth to anything. All right, so let's put that to bed. So let's be neutral. I want to try to be neutral about a lot of things in life. Because, okay, this is really truth and reality and centeredness. Okay? And God is going to come in and just because, why not? Hell, I'm already perfect. Oh, hell, this is perfection. Ain't no fun in perfection. It's just sitting still. It ain't doing nothing. It ain't being nothing. It's already everything. There's no fun in perfection, folks. That's why you want to pull it and create imperfection. An imperfect, finite form and a perfect, unlimited, infinite being expressing itself through a finite, imperfect form. I'm not asking you to believe me. I'm not saying trust me. Get to work. Do your research. Validate what I'm saying to you for yourself. There's only two things in existence that matters. God and God in human form. It is still one. God in totality, the macro, and God the micro. Two. Duality. The Trinity is both of the two together make up the third. And that is the only time there is a third. Man, woman, child. How does child come into existence? Because these two come together. And that makes the third. One meets two, they come together, and they make the third. That's the Holy Trinity. My nephew Robert asked me, well, what about the Holy Trinity? Well, Robert, I have been meditating, asking for insight for the past 2 years. And I did a chart on it, and God has been trickling that answer to me. And I'm giving it to you in this movie and many movies in the past. And each time I speak about it, it's going to be clearer, more validated. That's the process of learning. And I want you guys and gals, my niece, my nephew, I love you guys. I always call you guys. I want to use one word. I don't want to have to say guys and gals. Okay? To get this, I want you to get at it. I want you to learn to be as thirsty and gleeful and happy as I am about learning about you and the process. See, it's always two. You and the living, the process of living, the process of learning, a process of growth, the process of being better, being smarter, learning how to look at other people as yourself, just in a different form, vehicle with a different color to it. And some of them need to be brought back into their original. So go mate with them. And the reason you're going to mate with them is because you will be attracted to them. That attraction that you have to them, who put that in motion? What did I say? We are electromagnetic forms that are based on magnetism. This planet is being held together by electromagnetic gravitational forces. If enough electromagnetic pull and push in energy, negative is going to be attracted to positive. Black is going to be attracted to white. White is going to be attracted to black. Whether one is negative or positive, don't matter. It's irrelevant. The most important thing, the bottom line, is the attraction. Why are you attracted? You can't not be attracted. And this attraction is heavy. You're an unlimited being. So that attraction is going to have unlimited forms. And it may not always be how you think it's going to be. Keep your mind open and understand that this is how God has put it all into motion. And it's messy business. It's not always going to be perfect. It's not always going to be the way you think it's going to be. Because God wants to be in a position where it doesn't know. Because you're tired of knowing every doggone thing all the time with no end to it. Now, this is where I think entertainment has its purpose. See, not knowing something creates kind of like an anxiety. And anxiety is another form of another overall category called excitement. Some excitement is fun and some excitement is fear. It's an emotional response. But some kind of emotional response is better than none at all, forever. No reason. You can't get excited about something you already know. And when you know everything, excitement for you don't exist. So what would you do? You would put yourself in a position where you don't know something just so you can at least feel something. Where is this feeling going to happen? You're going to create a microscopic part of yourself that has all the features and the abilities and the powers and the authority, and you're going to put it in a situation where it don't know nothing. And baby, in that position, as a baby, as a child, growing up, oh, you're going to be plenty stimulated is an overall category for excitement and fear, fun and laughter, joy and happiness, fear, terror, horror. All of these are stimuli. That's the category I was looking for, stimulus. You want to be stimulated because once you know everything, nothing can, I don't care. See, so what to you seems like horror and terror as a micro being, to God, it is, oh, you terrified. Oh, God is like, oh, please. I'm sitting up here. Everything is under me. I can't even move. Because I'm everywhere all the time at the same time. Don't care. I gave all them feelings and emotions and stuff to you down there because I can't. Don't care. Subconscious being, just making stuff. Oh, I got something. Oh, somebody repeated something. Oh, hundreds, thousands of times. That's what they want in their life. Let it manifest in their life. Because that's the one that gave me the order. I send it back to the where the order came from. Now, see, I have got to draw these pictures for you in a comical and entertaining kind of way, right? Because I want you to understand how this works. This is how it works. And I defy anybody. Go out there and prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. I defy you. Prove me wrong. And you got to understand, what I'm trying to describe to you is big time. This ain't no, just because I'm talking to you in these little words, and I'm talking about the big dog. And you got to get your head, if you can. See, and what I'm doing, I'm not trying to get my head around it. I am being God because I am God. So I can imagine what it would be like to be God. And I can tell you right now, that is a position that will automatically trigger the Big Bang. And when the entity that big, when they say Big Bang, big is a little word for an unimaginable thing. See, imagination itself is within God. So imagination can't do justice to I call it the big dog. I mean, ooh, baby, I want you to get this. I want you to, don't let nobody tell you you can't do this, because I'm sitting here doing it right before your eyes. This is what it looks like. And I ain't scared of nobody. And I'm not asking no permission, because in this position, I don't care. Do you understand? I want you to understand. See, I don't have to care, but I do. See, that's what gives me depth. It's because I'm on the two boundaries of existence, both physical and metaphysical, spiritual, untouchable, endless, unflinching, bold, and robust. And don't have to care, but I do. You understand? Understand? Do you see the value of love, compassion, decency, and goodness coming out and coming from an environment and entity that don't have to care. Not that it just don't care, and it don't, but it don't have to care. It assigned all the caring and the loving and the compassion and the forgiveness and the understanding to you and me and my brother and my mother and my father and my sister and my aunts and my nieces and my nephew and my cousins, male and female, the frog, the dog, the monkey, the animals, and the other forms that it is expressing itself through. Don't limit your mind. You have an unlimited being utilizing your mind space, and that's why you keep stopping, because you want to have walls, because you know what you're trying to avoid being? That's why you're looking for walls. But you don't want to. Because if unlimited, there's no walls for unlimited. See, this is where I want you to get this. And most people gonna say, oh, geez, I don't want to hear no more of this, because it's too heavy. That's all right. You can do heavy. We can do heavy, because you are heavy. Stop believing this crap. Stop limiting yourself to this crap. Because while you're doing that, you're not learning how to build muscles to be heavy. You meant to be heavy. You meant to be big. You are big. But you put yourself here in this form so you can have walls. So now you can have emotions and feelings and compassion and love and goodness. And at the same time, you can murder, destroy, because this flesh vehicle right here, it don't have no compassion. You bring in the compassion with you as the micro being. See, micro being can be compassionate. Big dog is everything. But it's unfocused passion and compassion and decency and goodness. It's just all over the doggone place. It has no direction. It has no structure. It has no form. It's not focused. Forms, focuses, passion, decency, love, happiness, joy, peace, tranquility, goodness. See? Form allows those feelings and senses to exist on this plane. Because once you leave here, it's totally dissipated and has no form. Anybody ever talk to you like this before, folks? Nobody talked to me like this before. That's why I'm doing it. God and the universe and the ancestors are putting this stuff through me to get to itself, coming back to itself. And that itself is you in this form. Grenade in your ear, poof. I get that from my brother, Derek, DST. He's a producer. Used to work with Herbie Hancock. Everybody's calling him DST. Okay, but that's my brother Derek. I love him. Beautiful brother. He gives me all of these cool, sayings, and that's why I love young people. Young people younger than you, see, they're on the frontier of creativity. They're always creating something new, fresh. My nephew Robert, my son Joshua, my grandson. I love being around him. My niece, my niece Courtney. I can't wait to get around her and have some fun with her. I have a couple of other kids that I'm around, and they are just beautiful. I got one a little kid that I'm adopting him as my nephew, and Shariah and Kavion. Beautiful, beautiful young people. That's why I'm doing these movies for these folks. I want them to get this information and improve the quality of their life and guarantee them a life built on freedom, joy, and happiness, and wealth. Okay, I'm gonna end this video with a reminder. I want to go into take this knowledge of your past and the reality that we're born into, and use the other tool that you have, one of the most powerful tools you have in your toolbox, and that is the law of attraction. Utilizing your imagination, okay, pure imagination that is projecting thoughts, projecting visions, where in the mind space into the fourth dimension, so the subconscious machine can get to work and manifest what you want. And that's going to happen by you meditating, focusing your thoughts, picking the thoughts that are coming into your mind, and ignoring everything else that tries to come in. And after a while, you won't have to ignore it. It won't even bother to come in, because you have taken charge of your mind space. And the more you do it, the better you're going to get. And the faster you get better, the faster you're going to see things start manifesting in your life. I know that I'm going to have a Tesla in 2021. I already know it. I'm already in it. I'm already driving it, feeling the steering wheel, Kavion and Shariah in the back laughing and giggling and carrying on. We were already there. See, and because I'm consistently doing this every day, 365 days a year, 200-300 times a day, the universal machine, the subconscious machine, is already working on it. And I repeat in my mind space, take no action, because the machine already got it. Now that's the kind of faith in the unseen that you got to put into action in your life. Enough talking, folks. It's time to get to work. These things And Dianetics, this is another book I want to show you. Well, I don't have to. It's going to be on the screen. Dianetics is going to do the same thing for you that brother, what's his name? Brother Tommy Curry, Dr. Tommy Curry. He's going to give you the analysis to speak to you about this same thing here, the traumatic slavery syndrome, which is a mind game that the human form does as a reaction to the trauma of daily assault by white supremacists when you are in their environment. Here's the best news of them all. Stay away from them. You can pick and choose who you're going to honor with your presence. See, when you value yourself, then you don't honor, or you only allow people into your environment that you want in your environment. You know why? Because they are worthy. See, I value myself. I don't let nobody unworthy people, you haven't respected me. You haven't talked about my ancestors and my people with respect and value for all that they have done to make this world a better place, then you're not worthy to be in my presence. I want you to have an insult level. Okay? If nobody has done something to be worthy of your time and your energy, cut their behinds off. This TV right here, cut that thing off. That Bible, throw that crap in the garbage. Because it's not teaching you how to value yourself. And people that come into your life, you ain't worthy, I don't even want to talk to you. I will make an attempt. I did this since I've been living. I'm living here in a complex in Florida. And I have some of these mentally ill white supremacists. They don't even know they're mentally ill. But you know what? I ain't got time for them to get it together. Let them do that on their own. If they ain't doing the work, screw them. They get exactly what they deserve. You ain't willing to do no work. You know that what you're doing is wrong, and you continue to do it, then you deserve to get what I'm going to put on your behind. And if you come to me wrong, you're going to get a whole lot more than what you think. And I don't want to go there, because the bottom line is I'm not even going to let you in my environment because you're not worthy. You ain't bringing nothing to this game to make me better. You ain't worthy. You ain't worthy of my time and my energy, because I know I'm beautiful. I know I'm wise. I know I'm the original person. You dig? I'm a king. You want to be around the king and get my kingly knowledge and hear my kingly words and experience my kingly happiness and joy? You better be worthy, or I'm not even going to entertain you. I'm not going to allow you to get any of this. You dig? You got to have an insult level. But you can't have an insult level if you don't value your worth. Now you know. Now you know how important you are in existence. Never mind God. In existence. God don't need nothing from you. Jesus don't care. Don't need you either. He told you, it is you. Whatever in here, this is you. Value this. Value wisdom. Honor your ancestors. Honor your elders. See, then you become a whole person, a honorable, decent, valuable, worthy person. And when you value and you see yourself as worthy, and you honor your elders and your ancestors, and you love your children, you see how beautiful, and you love all children. See, because children don't know. That's you being reborn. And you don't know nothing when you're reborn. Okay, you see, you're starting to get this. I'm sure at this point, you're starting to get it. Okay? You have to build a base of knowledge that kind of informs the details of your life and the things that you should be valuing and paying attention to or ignoring, and keeping the dishonorable, unworthy people out of your life. And if they try to force themselves on you, you have to have the martial arts that allows you and teaches you to use the appropriate amount of force to help them to understand. No, you don't get to come in here and define my world or impact anything in my world, because I'm not going to allow it. And most 99% of that battle is not going to be physical. It's going to be mental. It's going to be social, in a way, in the way you speak, the way you carry yourself, and you're always on guard. And when one of them says something off, it's going to trigger one of your senses, and you're going to get insulted. And you're going to say, hey, whoa, hey, whoa, back up off that. Okay, let me inform you of what your problem is. Okay, and until you get that together, and from what you just said to me, if you don't apologize to me, then I don't ever want to see you again. By you just doing that, you have just helped that person get themselves together. You don't have to hit nobody. If nobody don't reach out and touch you, you don't have to hit nobody. And depending on how they reach out and touch you, maybe you don't need to break their finger or their wrist or their arm, but you need to be able to do that if you need to, quickly. If you need to, if you see they're going to another level and you see they're not going, they ready to do some serious harm, oh, then you have every right to leave them on the ground screaming and hollering. That's my motto. But you really don't want to do that. See, by you leaving them screaming and hollering on the ground, you're going to teach them something. But you can teach them something before you even get to that point. By you having an insult level and they see you're insulted and you took a step back and you blade yourself to them, they'll say, oh, jive, I better come correct to this one. And that reaction alone, you have just taught them. You've just taught them. I got to watch what I say. And what did I say? Why did I say that? I mean, who am I to disrespect this person? So now hopefully they will come, depending on how you inform them after you blade yourself and you let them know you're about to get into a whole lot of trouble, sir, ma'am, whatever it is, kid, whatever. You're about to get into a whole lot of trouble. So you let me explain to you what you just did wrong and why I feel you disrespected me. If I'm an elder and you're younger than me, or I'm a male and you're a male and you're younger than me and you coming at me incorrect, I want to explain to you why you're wrong. You disrespecting me. See, I'm an elder. See, I have the wisdom that you will need to help you make your life better. But if you come at me wrong and you're disrespectful to me, you might get into some serious problem. Your first problem is you're not going to get the wisdom and the insight that I have for you. See? But you have to have an insult level. Make sure you have an insult level. Because if you're not, you're no good to the society and to the world. See? You got to become wise. You got to become enlightened. You got to become aware of what and who you are, and always function out of that awareness. Okay? And on all the different levels that you have to function in order to overcome dysfunction. See, function informs dysfunction. Wisdom informs ignorance. That's the way evolution flows. It flows upward. and it goes through ignorance, and it brings the ignorant with it, because the ignorant now becomes informed. See, the goal is to inform the ignorant, the dumb cells. You want to make sure that the body is filled with healthy, informed, smart cells. You don't want to have dead, dumb, ignorant cells in the body, because it makes the body unhealthy. Okay? And that's what this process is all about. And in order for you to become a Jedi, that's what a Jedi does. In order for you to become a Jedi, you have to be informed yourself, and you have to be centered in a reality, a righteousness, centered with knowledge. Now, perfection for us as infinite spiritual beings functioning through a finite, imperfect form is your expressions are not going to always be spot on. It's not going to be spot on, but it's going to be exactly what need to be for that particular moment. And you need to be confident in that. And if you felt you did something wrong, apologize. That's all. That's what apologies is made for. See, that's part of you being a balanced human being, is that if you feel like you did something wrong, apologize. If that apology triggers another negative response, you decide. You use your judgment and decide whether you might need to come at it from a different perspective if the person is worthy. You decide if they're worthy. It always comes back to you. You got to understand that. It's always going to come back to you. And the more you become a Jedi, the more righteous you become, the more authorized, the more you begin to flex your authority as a microcosmic being functioning through a finite form. Okay? The more you do that, the better you're going to get at it. Okay? Okay? So again, giving honor to my elders, Professor Leonard Jeffries, Dr. Leonard Jeffries, Professor James Smalls, my brother. He is my Yang brother, and Professor Jeffries is more the yin yang brother. Brother Smalls is the yang yin brother. He is yang, okay, but his wisdom is yin. Okay, brother, my Baba Jeffries, and Baba, I shouldn't say brother, because Professor Smalls is a Baba to me. Professor Dr. Jeffries is Baba Dr. Jeffries, or Baba Jeffries to me. And Baba Jeffries is he is yin yang. He's that wisdom, but once he gets going, you will see the yang that is underneath all of that yin. Okay, but in order to teach, and you have to use your feminine side, which is the yin side. See, right now as I'm talking to you, this is the yin part of me, and every once in a while the yang will bubble up as I start to talk about the insult level and your reaction to it. And what you have to do is be balanced. See, your yin must balance offset your yang, and so you will be a balanced person. But we all are made of yin and yang, force and giving. Giving away is yin, force is yang. All right, so there's the constant giving and giving way, which is yin. Okay, and you are both. You just have to balance and use yin when it's time to use yin, and use yang when it's time to use yang. Some of us are more yang than yin. I'm more yang than yin, but I have a very healthy dose of yin within me. Believe me when I tell you that. But my yang that I get from my father is ooh, ooh, ooh. My mother, she is the most yinest person. She's so yin, she gets on my nerves. She's so yin. My grandmother is even more yin until you press the wrong button, and then you will see she is unbelievable yang. That's my grandmother. Both these are my two rocks right here. Okay. And my yang for me was Robert Judd. You will see his picture. I'll pop it up over here. And the yin, but who was really yang, was my father. The man who really raised me and was pivotal in my life was Richard Straw. He is really has been my father. I had two fathers, Robert Judd and Richard Straw. These are my two fathers. And Robert Judd, y'all will know him from Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. That man is, I don't think there's no yin in him at all. Well, there's got to be yin in him, but he was so yang. It's like, ooh, forget about it. But his wisdom was just unbelievable, unbelievable. Richard was just yin, but you'd have to, when you pressed his button, you saw a level of yang that is just not nice, to put it mildly, not nice at all. And he was a master at taking people apart. But he always stayed away from that. He avoided that. Robert Judd would let you know up front. He would take you apart. And so walk like when you approach him. Don't even say nothing wrong. He'll lop your head right off. Verbally, he'll lop your head off. And if you get too close and if you come at him wrong, he's like me, take you apart. Don't want to, but we will. Oh, sometimes you got to take the body and save the soul. And you got to know when to do it. Okay, and there's nothing wrong with that. It'll be exactly what needs to be done when it needs to be done. God is perfect. God don't make mistakes. Simple as that. Okay. So again, Dr. Shashi McIntyre, Professor Scobie, Dr. Scobie. These are the elders who trained me. I'll have to give credit also to Rogelio Strawn. He was the brother who I first met, along with some great brothers, great sisters. Verna, and I forget Verna's last name. She taught me meditation. There was another sister, I can't recall her name right now. She taught me Tai Chi. My great professor who taught me the primary martial art that I use to this day is Jiu-Jitsu. That is Professor, Mia Maru. His name, he taught Mia Maru is the style. I can't recall his name right now. But it was Robert Miyake or something like that. He's a Puerto Rican brother who went over to Japan. He learned Jiu-Jitsu, and he taught me the form of Miyamaru Jiu-Jitsu that is my primary martial art that I use, and I give great honor to him. And then all of my other teachers, Italian guy in the Bronx, coming out of over there on White Plains Road. He taught me how to become a marksman in the 30 years that I used to go to the range over there in the Bronx. Olinville. Dominic was my teacher. I don't know what Dominic's last name was. Great, excellent marksman in firearms. And he taught me really everything I know about shooting and becoming an expert marksman. So these are the people that were in my life that have made me who I am. My aunt Esther Roll, who is from Good Times, she was a pivotal person in my life. She was the first person to really introduce the African concept and being a liberationist, a person who is a revolutionary liberation or liberation revolutionary, and an African revolutionary liberationist back in the 60s and 70s when we were coming up, long before she became this actress on stage and whatnot. But she was originally African dance in the African dance theater with Olatunji, and these are the people who was back before I even understood what my African origin was. These are all the ancestors and the great people who have made me and impacted my life and made me the person that I am today. And I want to give honor to them, and I want to thank them for doing their job well. Okay? Doing their job so beautifully and so well that I can tell you that I walk this earth now as a person who is completely and totally free of fear. of any of the nonsense that's going on right now. And that's what I want for you, my son Joshua, my grandsons, my nieces, my nephew Robert, my niece Shantae and Imani. I want them, and Courtney Bunky, I love you, booby. You know, and Shariah and Kavion. This is what I want them to have, the freedom and the joy that in time, over time, they will be able to go to YouTube and watch my movies that I'm going to post on YouTube. And I'll make sure that they know they're there. And those that are meant to go there and get this insight and this wisdom and become the Jedis that they're supposed to be, they will go and they will do that. Okay? But that's going to be only because that's what they were supposed to do and were meant to do. And there will be no mistakes in that. And I am confident and proud in that reality and that understanding. Because to know truth, you have to live the truth. To know truth is to live truth. To know truth is to live truth. And I'll see you in the next movie. One love, family.